Okay, so they go on and on and on. And basically, what this guy is saying, and I think what she is agreeing, is that the people who support Harry and Meghan, and I assume I'm one of those people, are bullies. We are a bunch of bullies, and we are basically a bunch of bullies. And it's interesting because, one of the reasons that I started to support Harry and Meghan and to defend Harry and Meghan on my YouTube channel is because my perception was at the time, going back a couple of years, that she was being relentlessly bullied by the media in the UK, in Australia, and other parts of the world. I felt that it was an injustice. I felt it was unfair. I felt it was almost inhumane. Well, not almost. I felt that it was inhumane. The relentless attacks on one human being that just was not stopping and coming like a deluge by all of these types of people. I felt it to be unjust. I felt it to be unfair, and I just felt it to be inappropriate. And so I started my YouTube channel at that point. Now, am I a Sussex squad? I don't know. I don't know exactly how one becomes a Sussex squad. I mean, if a Sussex squad is somebody who defends Harry and Meghan's position in this, if it's Team Harry, Team Meghan, then yes, I'm a Sussex squad, right? But I suspect that to be a Sussex squad is more complicated than that, and I'm really not really sure how one is initiated into the Sussex squad, when it began. I mean, I've had people come on here who claim to be Sussex squad who have checkmated me because I was incorrect on a date or whatever. These are people who know the story to the nitty gritty. I'm not somebody, I don't follow all of the gossips and stuff. I don't, I never, that was never my motivation for supporting Harry and Meghan. But what is interesting to me is that these established media are now, recognizing this entity called Sussex Squad and are now turning the tables on the quote unquote Sussex Squad. I mean, these are established media with, you know, multi-million dollar budgets behind their shows. I mean, they have had 5 years of unchecked, a hate fest against Meghan Markle. In my opinion, they have gone unchecked. There was no counterpoint for them in the United States, in France, anywhere in the world. On the contrary, everyone who came aboard, to me, seemed to come aboard to join with these press. And so what started to happen was, I think, is a ground, how do you say in English? Oh my God, my English. It's like a movement. It's like a movement. There's a word with ground. It was a ground. Oh my God, I can't remember. But this movement was like a ground roots, whatever, something like that, movement where people were just so horrified with what these people were doing to Meghan Markle, not to Meghan Markle, but to another human on a daily basis. It could have been anyone, actually. She could have been Asian, she could have been Irish, whatever it was, it was the same for me. Like, it wasn't that it was Meghan Markle, it was that I thought it was wrong. you know, and so you have this, is it ground roots? Roots ground, not ground roots, movement where just small people like myself with nothing, no money, no backing, no followers on YouTube. My battery's now low. Um, who decided to start a YouTube channel to lend their voice to support another human being who was being relentlessly attacked by very powerful people. Let me stop this for a second and try to get my cord. So, right, so she was being relentlessly attacked by very powerful people, and it was spreading all over the world, so that you will have kids in France saying things, and you look. I happened to be in France, and I was horrified. Like, where are you getting this? How are you forming this opinion? And then I realized that even the press in France was joining this bandwagon. And so I could not remain silent, right? And so I got in to lend my voice to what I perceive to be the situation, or to lend my opinion to this data that was just, multiplying like a coronavirus right before my eyes against this girl. And so the notion that they are now turning on the Sussex squad is interesting on several different fronts. I think one is it shows the power of the Sussex squad. It shows that the impact of the Sussex squad. I mean, they're talking about the Sussex squad, and the Sussex squad are not journalists. They're not billionaires who finance huge media organizations. They're just YouTubers, but some of them have no money, like myself, right? And they're just talking, and together they were able to make such an impact that you have these big, powerful media, like literally recognizing the Sussex squad as a thing and talking about them being online bullies. I mean, look who's talking you know and I don't know these two individuals, so I'm not going to speak specifically to these two individuals, but it seems to me that they are part of a larger operation, a media operation, that are the ones that created the Sussex squad. The Sussex squad came out of a necessity. It was crying out for a counterpoint to these people who I feel in many ways, some of them, I'm not speaking specifically to these two because I don't have any idea who they are, um, you know, quite evil, pure evil, right? Some of them even professing to have been friends with Megan, and then, the daily assault on a friend. Because why? What did this friend do to you that justifies this response, this unstopping response for 5 years? So for me, it was that. But interestingly, yesterday, someone I follow, I don't know if she's a Sussex squad, because again, I don't know if I'm a Sussex squad. I don't know how does one become a Sussex squad? Is one automatically a Sussex squatty if one defends the position of Meghan and Harry? Or is it a specific type of a person who defends in a particular way? I don't know. But someone I follow, because I love the way she covers Meghan's story and Meghan and Harry's story, is this woman called Teaser Tells. And she said something very interesting yesterday. Let's listen to her and then I will come back. Watching this video for Teaser Tells, and around, what is the point we are here? Around 1607, something like that, where she starts to talk about the two types of Sussex squad. One of them, she said, was the Michelle Obama, who when they go low, we go high. And then there was the other part of the Sussex squad, which she said that she believes she belongs to, where they meet you on your level. It's like, you come at me with hell, I bring my own hell, and let's just see that's who's left standing, right? And which gave me a chuckle. It did give me a chuckle because she seems to be very much like that, which is part of why I like her, because she said that she was not raised to pray for her enemies. On the contrary, I was raised to pray for my enemies, right? I was raised to be kind and to be nice and to turn the other cheek. I'm very Catholic. I was raised very Catholic. And what I have found is that in my life at this point, I mean, at this point in my life, it's, God knows most of it is behind me, um, is that it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work with many people, perhaps the average person on the planet, because humans are not wired to understand and appreciate kindness. They see it as weakness, in fact, and they bully you, they take your things, they take your home, they take your country, they take your house, they take everything. They take your sanity even if you let them. But if they feel that you will fight back, my perception at this point in my life is that they back off. They pick on people that they can get away with. I think Tisa is right about that. And So I don't fault her for it, but it's not my way, because once you are sort of, indoctrinated to see life a certain way and to respond in a certain way to certain stimuli, it's very hard to change, you see. It's very hard to change. And the only thing I can tell you is that, having been someone who was raised by, two very Catholic people, um, is that it doesn't get you anywhere to let people walk all over you and turn the other cheek. It really just doesn't, right? In fact, you end up with nothing. If you have your sanity, you're lucky, right?
To the nature of Princess Catherine's illness, the nature of what's going on between Prince William and the Princess of Wales in their marriage, all of those sorts of things. It's pretty royal stuff, some of it.
Well, let me just tell you, okay, that he got caught cheating.
Around to the blog, but where I'm getting to with this is that has fueled all sorts of Twitter speculation about what is wrong with Princess Catherine, what is wrong with Prince William, why Prince William isn't around, what's gone on between them, all this sort of stuff.
My point is there is no credibility there, because I didn't realize all this information about that blogger. Now that I know it, I'm distancing myself, because there's no credibility there.
I don't know where I left off. I can't find the part where of the video I was looking for, but I just think it's very, very interesting that, they are now branding the Sussex squad as bullies, and it's just very interesting. It's very interesting, and I think that, in a way, in a backhanded way, it's flattering, because it says that there has been impact, with a very sort of grassroots effort to defend Harry and Meghan from this relentless attack by a powerful media force. Um, you know, Media has to be balanced and it has to be truthful, I think. In order to foster a sense of trust, so that when you read the media and you listen to these very powerful people, you know that what you're hearing is true and that you can depend on it. And I feel like what started to happen with the Harry and Meghan situation was that I realized, wait a second, this just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem accurate. It doesn't seem fair. And most definitely, it does not seem balanced. And once those things started to enter the equation, of course, I cannot trust the messengers. I can't trust the messengers. I can't trust anything they're saying. And so that's why I got into it. But, the notion of being called a bully, though, for just speaking up against what I perceive to be injustice, and I'm assuming that I'm a part of the bully squad, is really interesting. I've never been called that in my life. On the contrary, I've been the bullied in my life. I have no idea. I don't know. But look, I think that the Sussex squad has done an excellent job of of pushing back against very powerful people. I don't think they can ever really um, push back fully against these types of people. Obviously, they have money talks, and they have the money to keep this going and to silence people as they wish. For me, it has always been about um, just truth in family. But, just even yesterday, just reading in the Mirror, or one of those papers, that the royal family members had gone on this private jet with Jeremy Clarkson to Bahrain and to the Middle East, and he was hugging them. This is the same guy who called for Meghan to be paraded in the streets and, for feces to be thrown at her. No, I don't think any of these people ever called him a bully. But, it was all of those kinds of things that I just thought was so wrong. And then the fact that members of the royal family are so close friends with these types of people, for me, it justifies being a counterpoint and speaking out when I disagree. That all said, um, I have always been for family, and for reconciliation, if you will. But even just yesterday, learning that members of the royal family had taken a private jet with this individual, um, not one of them having ever publicly denounced anything he said or even called on the media to stop doing this to one of their family members, a member by marriage, but a family member nevertheless. I can't respect it. I cannot respect it. And to be called an online bully. I mean, am I one of the online bullies? I don't know. I don't think of myself as a bully. I've never bullied anybody in my entire life. I'm a lover. I love cake. I love tea parties and, laughter and joy and all those things. I don't see myself that way, but who knows? I mean, whatever they say, they say. I'm not going to be silenced by people like this, by being labeled by them, and them, pointing fingers after everything they have done for the past 5 years. And I think that if the Sussex squad has made an impact, and also I think the royal family has, they sort of fell into a bit of a ditch at the moment. They're in a ditch. They were in this runaway train. They were getting all the good press, all the defense, everything. Then the train, all of the wheels fell off, and the train seems to be spiraling. That's not the fault of the Sussex squad. That's not the fault of the Sussex squad, because the Sussex squad is not the one with the power. It's the royal family who has all the power, and the media that covers the royal family favorably while having this imbalanced coverage of Harry and Meghan for all these years. It's they who have all the power, you know, and they are the Goliaths here. They are the Goliaths here, and the Sussex God is the David. You see, and just speaking, I mean, certainly on my side, I mean, I don't accept this label, because that has never been my motivation. It has never been my heart, right? And I'm sure that that's true for many other people. Now, it doesn't mean because you're on a particular side that everyone is good. No, we're on earth. We're not in heaven. There are always going to be good people and bad people, no matter what side you're on. And whoever those are, I don't know. And I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. But I think that most of the people who got into this situation to defend Harry and Meghan are people who saw the injustice of what these types of people, the media, again, I'm not speaking specifically to these two because it's the first time I'm seeing them, but these powerful media, what they were trying to do to this human being and what they have failed to do. And not only that, with all of the powerful media on their side, all the resources that they have and that the royal family have, it does seem like it is the royal family whose wheels have fallen off the train first, and that Meghan and Harry are thriving. So there's an invisible hand here, obviously, that's helping the Sussex squad, and that's helping Meghan and Harry, as far as it looks to me. Anyway, this is going to be a very upside down. My videos are upside down. But that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.